2025 was insane, and this is me back in January, not knowing what the year had in store. And we're looking at the craziest moments, from moving across the country to living in some questionable places, starting my own business, to then start this. So let's go back to the guy in January who started the year like everyone else on New Year's Day, working a nice bank job and living a somewhat cozy life. Little did he know it was all going to crack. Starting a little after April, I started feeling stuck in my job, where I live, not growing into who I wanted to become. Then July 26th, I got the opportunity of a lifetime. That seemed too good to be true. A new job, general manager at one of the biggest fast food restaurants with $30 an hour and monthly bonuses and insurance. Me and my girlfriend were going to be set. We packed our bags and got ready for my start date in August. Cleaned up the car and on our way to a new life in a completely different state, Texas. Yeah, forgot to mention, we lived in Michigan, so it was a huge change for my girlfriend, whose whole family was in Michigan. It was just us, our cat, and a new life ahead of us. Until it wasn't. I went to start my first day until they came up to me and told me that they handed the position to another candidate after further consideration. There I was, standing there with my girlfriend sitting in the car, with news so heavy it felt like the earth was on my shoulders. My whole plan was to use my job offer for an already paid for application to rent a place, and that was out the window. I called my friend and we stayed there for a while, but with it being the hottest time in Texas and his apartment had no AC, me and her just slept in my car. We DoorDashed for food. I often would stay up to get any hours to make some sort of money to save up for a place, but my car started to overheat. I could only work at night and it was hot during the day. I'd catch 1 or 2 orders before my car would melt. Then we'd pause, apply for jobs anywhere, but it was all for nothing. As a month goes by, I get one job as a door-to-door salesman, but it's 110 degrees outside. I work 11 hours a day and plus DoorDashing at night. I was left with no choice but to quit because of the work environment, no way of reliably getting there, and nowhere for my girlfriend to stay while I worked. I get a strange knock on my window, getting louder and louder as the seconds go by, and my friend's landlord tells me I need to leave or I get towed. I just accepted it and we left. We looked where we could sleep to survive, but restaurants would kick us out. Even if we bought stuff, gas stations were too risky. We had nowhere to go. One night, I got a call from my mom on September 7th, asking if I'd stay in a hotel. I immediately said yes, but I can't afford a deposit. I barely make enough to break even for gas, food, and laundry. So then she accidentally, quote unquote, bought 5 nights at a motel and we finally had a bed and AC. After a month, it was the greatest feeling in our lives. Until we realized 3 days later, this isn't gonna last forever. We have to afford to keep this place no matter what. We started DoorDashing all night and sleeping or relaxing during the day. We made just enough for the room, food, pet supplies, laundry, and because night was the slowest time, we barely made enough while working 12 hours a night. But I did it. I put us here. I put my girlfriend, who I want to marry someday, in this horrible position, and our car breaks down all the time. We can barely even make money at night now. And as I'm freaking out over my car, someone walks up to me and points me to a mechanic shop who will help me even without money. We headed there as soon as we could, to Farnham's Automotive. We meet the owner, Melly, who is the nicest, quirkiest person I've ever met. She let me work beside her while I work on my car with the parts in her shop. This was huge, but led to a huge problem down the road. Now I work during the day and night, and I don't want to let the shop owner down, but I can't let my future wife live on the street again. So I deal with it. I took a nap between orders and went on with my life. Until Melly came up to me one day with a great idea. Why not start a business? And not just any business, car detailing, with me. And I was hooked. I made my logo, she helped create service sheets, contracts, everything. K Luxury is an official business with certificate proof, but business was slow. I advertised everywhere. I had a total of 3 customers and I'll be forever grateful to them. I also get to work with Melly's friend Landscaping, officially having 6 jobs to my name, with the last one painting for some random person I met on the street. Until one day, my granny called me and asked me to move in for an upcoming surgery and needed help getting around the house. While hesitant at first for other reasons, I decided to move in October 28th. And I also made the big decision to DoorDash in the biggest city, Austin, Texas. My main goal was to make enough to afford the deposit to a cheap place to rent. But my car wasted its last breath 3 weeks later, and now I'm left with no income, no car, and lost hope. November 15th, I was doom scrolling when my mom called me again. She said, "Why don't you start YouTube again? you used to do it on the floor. That put a whole vision in my mind. You're right, but I don't know what to do. So I recorded the only game I had on my computer that I randomly decided to bring with me was Minecraft. And I uploaded my first video after 2 years on YouTube November 20th. Then another and another. And it was amazing, living my dream of finally being free to put my all into my dream and who I wanted to be, me. And after a month of uploading, 50 subscribers later, I reached my first 100 subscribers the day before the New Year's. And even though I spent the day in the hospital, I will never let this go again. This is my dream, and I'm not stopping until I make a change in this world, even if it's slight. So expect more videos in the future, and for them to keep getting better. Subscribe, and Happy New Year.